and thank you for joining us for the monthly ramp up presented to you by Franchise Ramp. My name is Nick Hansen, head of creative here, and I'm super excited for the latest edition of this webinar series that includes a mix of in the trenches knowledge and high level strategy, along with a featured interview with a franchisee. Today, we are super excited to have Bryanna Rawe of Deka Lash Palm Beach Gardens and West Palm Beach, and our awesome franchisee success manager, Evan Lacivita, will be conducting an interview with her later in the session. You're also going to be receiving a marketing update from VP of Operations at Franchise Ramp, Aren Johnstone, and a technical tools discussion with account manager, Paige Beechler. At the end of the session, there will be a brief Q&A. Please feel free to message us. There's a function in where you can send us your questions in the Zoom bar. And just want to say thank you so much for attending today. The monthly Ramp Up's goal is to give you a coherent picture of what's happening at the intersection of marketing and franchising. We want this to be a tight-knit community for franchisees to share knowledge and gain insight. Our mission is to help franchisees realize their entrepreneurial dreams through targeted marketing strategies that maximize success for consumer-oriented franchises. Please come back and join us again. Now, I would like to introduce VP of Operations at Franchise Ramp, Aren Johnstone.
Thank you so much, Nick, and thank you everyone for attending here today. Nick, if you can go to the next slide, I'm going to be talking about holiday marketing. So first, we're going to go over some high-level statistics. We're going to discuss the effects that COVID has had on both consumer behavior and the marketing landscape in 2020. And then we're going to end with 5 very actionable tips that every franchisee can take away and immediately implement in their business to maximize their personal holiday sales. And for those of you who attended the last monthly ramp up last month, some of it at the beginning is going to be a little bit repetitive, but I want to make sure that I set the landscape for the holiday environment and for the effects that COVID has had on purchasing behavior. Nick, you can go to the next slide, please. So to start off, just to give the scope of how much money is spent in holiday behavior. So last year was the first year that ever broke $1 trillion in total retail sales. And astonishingly, 869 billion of that was in brick and mortar. So the percentage that is in brick and mortar is expected to decrease this year because more people are going to be shopping online. They don't want to go to the, especially the major malls or giant superstores. But very interesting for most franchisees, especially in the experience, so fitness, salons, et cetera, 39% of that, which is a huge portion of it's $390 billion were spent on experiences. So that's a very broad category that includes things such as food, beverage, but it also includes services. So that would be gyms or personal memberships, salons, beauty salons, and basically any service that's not a specific product. So a lot of that money is going directly to local businesses that are offering services and or membership type offers. And then because I'm going to be discussing a thing called CPM throughout this presentation, I'm going to start with just explaining exactly what that is. So last year during the holidays, digital ad cost increased by 140%. And what I mean by that is CPM cost increased by 140%. And so CPM is just a simple metric. It's cost per 1,000 impressions or really views. And so platforms like Facebook and Instagram, they bill or make money on what's called an impression model. So us as advertisers, we actually pay Facebook for views. So they don't, there's no difference in cost whether people are engaging, whether they aren't engaging, whether they click to a lead, whether they buy something. We're just paying for those impressions. And Facebook and Instagram and other social media platforms determine a cost of an impression very much like an auctioning system. So you have a limited amount of real estate in your newsfeed. So if you're scrolling your newsfeed and you see an ad, there's a certain number of advertisers bidding on that placement to show their ad in that spot. And so the more competition that there is for that individual placement, the more that the cost rises. And so during the holidays, because of the increased consumer behavior, especially e-com and major retailers are going to be spending a lot more money to get their ad to show on those prime placements in your newsfeed and other different placements. So whenever we say that ad costs increase, what we mean is that the CPM cost increase. So the cost to actually show your ad to someone has gone up, and that's really due to competition. Now we're going to talk about the effects that COVID has had on holiday marketing and consumer behavior. So Nick, next slide, please. This is really important. We'll frame a lot of the actionable tips that I'm going to discuss at the last part of my section here. So first, 51% of people are anxious or have expressed that they're nervous about shopping in store to COVID. So a lot of those people are going to look for convenience. They're going to go online. They're not going to be shopping in stores. 47% of people do not plan to shop major events. And so the major events in the holiday season are really Black Friday and Cyber Monday. That's a very, very different percentage than last year. So what that means is that consumers are going to be buying not on significant days. They're going to start shopping whenever it's convenient for them, whenever they find deals. And that's really changed the way that advertisers are advertising. So they're no longer waiting for Black Friday to publish their biggest offer. They're starting much earlier in November, even October, and then running that extending that offer into early or even late December. Another very interesting statistic is that 38% of people plan to spend less, but this is not going to have a 38% decrease in total spend. So COVID has affected the lower income demographics significantly more than the middle and upper income demographics. And so 38% of people are going to spend less, but the people in the middle and higher income demographics are going to spend more or equivalent amounts. So the average household spend this holiday season is really not dropping too much. It's estimated to go from $14.96 per household last year to $13.87. So it's not a 38% decrease. And then for all the service businesses, whether you're a gym or a salon, this is very important. 34% decline in travel spending this year. And most companies like Deloitte are really estimating that almost all of that is going to shift. It's not going to go away. It's going to shift to non-gift personal purchases. So those are going to be personal memberships or household renovations or buying that thing for themselves that they haven't wanted. And so this is where your offers can really come in and you can capitalize on that shift in consumer behavior. Nick, next slide, please. So we talked about how I think it was 47% of people are not going to be shopping on significant dates. And so what that's caused is a much longer or extended timeline of holiday shopping. So there's some bad news here. We're already on November 18th. So 61% of people are planning on beginning their shopping before Thanksgiving, 38% before the end of October. The good news, though, is that we are not yet after Thanksgiving. So if you have not already started promoting your holiday offers, you should do so as quickly as possible. You should work with your corporate team to understand when those offers become available and then start promoting them the second that they do and continue to promote them as long as they are offered. Most of the partners that we work with at the different corporate teams, the franchisor levels, have actually extended the length of their offers compared to previous years due to this type of consumer behavior. Nick, next slide. So what does all of this mean to you? Sorry about the weird indentation there. How can you actually take advantage? So we're going to focus in a few areas, and then I'll give you the 5 very actionable things that you can take away from the session. So first of all, you should start your holiday advertising earlier than Black Friday, really as early as possible. And then you should use your email list. This is a huge asset that most franchisees do not utilize. They're very focused on new inbound leads and all the brand new leads that come either through paid media, walk-ins, calls, microsite leads, et cetera. But your email list is a huge asset because you've already paid for all of those contacts and you know something about those people, whether they're ex-customers, current customers, prospects who have engaged, or prospects who are cooled off. And so just some statistics to establish the value of your email list is last year, email was responsible for 20% of online holiday visits. That's a huge percentage, especially because it's free. You already own that email list. It is an asset. So all of those site visits are 100% free. And the people who visited sites ended up spending 138% more than people who came through other traffic sources. So if you're coming from a paid ad or organic, that's normally your first time interacting with a business. But if you're subscribed to an email list or part of someone's CRM system, you have an ongoing relationship with that business. And so you're more likely to spend a higher amount of money. And then lastly, something you should really consider is that deals still win. Every major statistic or study about holiday consumer behavior this year is that people's number one motivator for buying behavior is going to be off of deals. Are you offering a good deal? So you should really focus on that. Focus on the percentage off on the deal that you're establishing. Then second in consumer behavior this year is convenience, which is different than previous years. People want to know that it's close to them. They don't want to be forced into buying today. They want to be able to buy and use it later. So really focus on convenience in your offering and make sure that they know if it is a flexible offer or they can buy today but claim later, that should be established. And then third is safety. So especially for local businesses or gyms or salons, not the most important, but you should establish the safety precautions that you are taking to keep your members and your customers safe. So next, we're going to jump into the 5 actual things that you can take away and do immediately after this or in the weeks to come. So the first one is we're going to start with current customers, because in COVID, your current customers have self-selected as the individuals who are still wanting to utilize your service. So we're going to take gyms as an example. If you have a current customer, they haven't canceled through COVID. Those are the people who are actually not scared to go to a gym. They want to utilize your product in the current environment. And so by doing so, their friend group or the people who they associate with have a high likelihood of establishing or having many of the same characteristics that they do. So you should utilize your current customers because they're probably your biggest asset. So work with your corporate team, understand if you have any refer a friend promotions. And if there are no specific promotions, just use whatever holiday promotion you have or Black Friday offer and talk to your current members about it. Email them specifically that if they bring in a friend, their friends can get this offer. Utilize that after classes or after people come into a salon or into your business. So I would recommend emailing all of your current customers with whatever type of refer a friend promotion you can, and really trying to leverage the people who have self-selected as basically your prime audience right now. Nick, number 2. This one I'm very excited about. So we're going to talk about X customers here. So X customers is a segment of a list that's typically just thrown into your prospects. So after someone cancels, they typically just get the same emails that everyone else does. So people who just heard about you or opted into your website or tried to get a free class. And they're not. These are people who've already bought from you. So they're a highly valuable consumer. And this year more than ever, because many of your ex customers have not canceled because they do not like your service. They've canceled because of the environment, whether it's losing a job, whether it's just being scared for safety precautions because of COVID, whatever that might be. There's a huge opportunity to get back in front of your ex customer list with messaging that is specific and segmented to that audience. So I've included just a couple email templates here. Basically, you can start with just "we miss you" or "it's been a while" and offering something specific to them. I would highly recommend just Googling win-back email templates. There's dozens and dozens of them on the internet on the first page of Google. They've been written and tested thousands of times. So I would just use those email templates if you can. But the biggest thing is to just get in front of those people with a specific message. And you don't have to do a different offer. You can utilize your standard Black Friday or holiday offer, but just speak specifically to them. People want to feel like they're important. And this is probably your second most valuable segment in your email list. Nick, number 3. All right, so for prospects now. So we've already talked about customers, ex-customers. Now we're gonna move on to prospects. So this is probably your largest segment, or it should be by far. And for most franchisees at this point, if you've been in business, you could have thousands of emails that you've already paid for. So again, all of this emails that you're going to do are 100% free, right? This is just extra money off of an asset that you've already accumulated or paid for. So anytime you utilize that list, you're just making money off the asset that was already paid for. And so I would recommend advertising to your prospect list with 3 types of offers if possible. So depending on what offers or promotions your brand is running, or you're able to do, these are 3 different segments that speak to different types of people. So not everyone is going to buy off of the same motivation. And so the 3 major ones that I would try to send out, and so these are just going to be 3 separate emails, or you can combine them, would be some sort of membership or large purchase. So you can buy a class pack for a fitness studio or a 12-month membership at a discount. Those are people who probably have engaged with you, have been thinking about it. They have more money and they're the long-term commitment people. But not everyone's going to opt into a 12-month offer or a 20-pack of classes or a bundle type offer because it's higher ticket. The second one is merchandise. People, especially during the holidays, like things. Most of the purchasing is going to be around objects and tangibles. So if you're, let's say, if you have any sort of merchandise, try to combine that with whatever your intro offer is. So during the holidays, if you take our intro offer, we'll also give you a t-shirt or some sort of beauty product or a water bottle, just some sort of merchandise add-on. If you're a yoga studio, an extra mat or a mat at a discount, people want those things, intangibles. And then lastly is a low commitment but high percentage discount. So these are all the people who are not going to buy a long-term membership but are interested in trying your product. And so that's going to be your standard free intro type offer, or 50% off your first service, or 20% off, whatever that might be. But you want to make sure that you speak to that prospect list with multiple types of offers or messages, because not every single offer is going to work for every person, right? Each person is different. And number 4, Nick. So number 4 is utilize reach campaigns during high holiday CPM costs. And there's a couple of questions. Yeah, we'll share this deck and this recording with everyone who's registered. If you have any questions, I'll give you my phone number and email after my presentation, so you guys can call or email. But so Facebook primarily utilizes, like, most of our advertising is off of conversion objectives, meaning that we're telling Facebook we want this person who sees it to be a lead. And so what Facebook does then is it puts the ad in the news feed, mostly, like 95% of the time. That's because it's a big box with a button that is very easy to click. That's also where all of the e-com brands, that's where Amazon's advertising, Target, Best Buy, every e-com brand wants that spot too, because they want them to click that ad and buy that product. And so that cost per impression on that spot has a lot of demand and is very, very expensive. So utilize different objectives. Facebook also has what's called a reach, and this is Facebook and Instagram, has what's called a reach objective, meaning we just want to show our ad as many times to as many people as possible. And so if you tell them that, they're going to show it maybe not at peak hours, or not in the news feed, but on stories. And instead of stories, maybe on your mobile app. So they're still going to be brand aware and know that you exist and know what offer you're offering, but it might be a smaller button to click, or there might not be a button present. And so just to give you some actual hard concrete numbers here, because it's pretty amazing. This is real statistics from over a few $100,000 in our spend in November so far. Lead objectives cost 7.15 times more per impression and 10.73 times more per unique person who sees your ad. So if we're going to take $100, like if you're going to spend $100 on advertising and you're going to put it towards a lead objective, you would get 5,443 impressions at our current cost for lead objectives. But if you put that into a reach objective, your ads would be seen 39,000 times basically. And then even more impressively, if you're to put that into just how many people, not times do they see it, but how many unique people see it, that $100 would only get you 2,000 people to see your ad if you were doing a lead objective campaign. But if you did a reach campaign, 22,000 people would see your ad. And so social media marketing in the internet marketing world has really pushed this direct response, click, buy type procedure. But people are still doing billboard advertising. They're still doing commercials on TV. And those impressions do have value. And so if you were going to buy a billboard for $100, you would want to put it into an area where 22,000 people are going to see it instead of 2,000 people. You're still going to do the things where they can directly engage, but these impressions do have value. And so if you're, Paige will talk about this on her section, but as you're posting these offers to your social media pages, try boosting them with reach objectives to get those type of impressions at a cheaper cost, or talk to your advertising agency about doing something other than just standard lead generation or direct response advertising. Next slide, Nick. And then to bring this full circle, just to recap, start your Black Friday promotions early and run them long. So do them as early as possible, get as many people, and then run them as long as you can. So you will not exhaust your email list. This is a tip. Email your list as many times as you can. Unsubscribes are a great thing. You do not want a 6,000 person email list where you never email or no one opens, right? It's better to have a 100-person email list because everyone else has unsubscribed, but those 100 people actually buy things, right? So unsubscribes are a great thing to actually help with your deliverability. And you want to know how many real people are actually in your segment or your asset that you can get in front of. And it's free. So you can email as many times as you want for free. And then purchases are best, right? Or better. So unsubscribes don't matter. They're not an indicator of your buying behavior. They're an indicator of the people who do not want you, which is good. You want to get those people out. And so again, just start your Black Friday promotions early and run them long. And then Paige is going to have, she has some great tips and tricks on social media posting, and I'll let Paige take it from here.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining today. Again, I'm Paige. I'm an account manager here at Franchise Ramp, and I'm covering the tactical tools section of our monthly webinar. So today we're going to dive into organic posting, and we're going to cover why it's important, how it aids your digital paid plans as well, best practices, type of organic content, some engagement hacks for you, and then finding the time by using schedulers. So organic posting, why is it important? Perfecting your organic social media game can really help you stand out amongst your local competitors, which is something you definitely want to do during this holiday season. And it's sure to help boost your paid social media advertising efforts as well. So kind of a two-pronged effect there. When you post consistent organic content to your profiles, you boost your loyalty as well as engagement on your pages. So I know Aren touched on that as well. We definitely want to make sure that we are capitalizing on our reach during this time when CPMs are high. The increased engagement on your page then leads to a wider reach and awareness of your brand. And then from there, you can analyze the demographics and audiences that are engaging with your organic content on those pages and profiles and begin to understand your target audience better, which also goes hand in hand with the paid campaigns. So this ultimately increases the effectiveness of the paid campaigns, and it also reduces your CPM, which we know is on the rise, and your cost per lead, which is very important. So to get the most out of the organic content on your social media, there are a few best practices to follow. Thank you, Nick. First and foremost, we want to make sure that we are writing and creating on-brand content and assets. While it's key to create a fun and engaging page and throw in a little flavor, we definitely want to make sure that your followers and potential customers are getting a clear picture of your on-brand messaging and what makes your business and brand so special to them. Next slide, please, Nick. So secondly, we want to make sure that we are following asset guidelines and requirements. I know that we did put out a little cheat sheet here from Franchise Ramp recently. Maybe we can include that in the deck as well, that goes over more specifics and requirements for those assets. Images and videos should include models that are of your target demographics and should reflect the perks of being a customer of your business. Images on Facebook feed posts should be 1200 by 630 in size. I know that's a little specific, but we can refer back to this later, and it's also in our guide. And then Instagram feed, the images should be 1080 by 1080. They really like that square format. Videos on Facebook should be 1280 by 720 in size, and maximum of 240 minutes long. It's quite a bit of time and length for video. We definitely see a lot more success with the shorter videos. Videos on Instagram feed should be square as well. For a long time now, Instagram has included portrait, landscape, and story ratios, but we still see that the square videos outperform on every single platform. When you're creating your assets, we have found through several tests and trial that authentic content performs much better than the highly polished, overgeneralized corporate provided content, and it gives a killer personal effect and hyper local touch to your posts. We want to make sure that your community is seeing exactly what your business has to offer and not some magazine ad. And remember, in 2020 that video is still king. So when choosing assets, try to pump out as much video as you possibly can. Next slide, please, Nick. And last but not least, in terms of best practices, you want to make sure that you're posting during peak engagement times. What you post matters, but when you post matters just as much. Posting during peak engagement times is essential to perfecting your organic media strategy. Peak times of use have drastically changed since COVID, we're seeing, mostly directly affected by more and more students that are doing distance learning from home, and more adults are working from home as well. So they have easier access without maybe the manager poking over their shoulder, and they are using the internet and Facebook and social media at different times of the day than they used to. To find your peak time, you can go one of two routes. The first one I suggest is to look up blogs and statistics from trusted social media expert sites like Sprout Social and HubSpot. They both produce, I think, quarterly reports, if not more. You can simply Google that and look up peak engagement times for whichever platform you are looking into. And then from there, you can see, for just a quick example, Sprout Social currently reports that peak times on Facebook are currently Wednesdays at 11 a.m. and between 1 and 2 p.m. And then additionally, they also report that Sundays are the worst engagement day currently. Alternatively, you can go another route. You can check your own business page insights section. Next slide, please, Nick. Took just some quick little screenshots here. If you go into your Facebook and go to your page, on the left-hand side, you'll see a little section that says Insights. You can click See All, and these lovely things will pop up. You can click specifically on Post Engagement, and you'll see the graph all the way to the right there that shows when your viewers and your audiences are following your page and actively clicking and liking and engaging with the page. So that will also help you manually pull when you want to be posting. Next slide, please, Nick. So now that we know some best practices, what types of content should we really be posting to our organic platforms? You want to make sure that you are setting your page apart, obviously, and helping to increase your engagement and reach for your pages so that in turn, it's also helping your paid campaigns. You want cohesion there between the two. You also want to make sure that the visual assets are on brand as well as the copy, which we touched on. Showcase what makes your business different. You know, what sets you apart from the studio down the way or a big box gym. Showcase key membership perks. What are your customers really getting when they choose your business over someone else's? Maybe the clean and state-of-the-art equipment that is used, maybe the open space, the sense of community surrounding your members and your studios. So something to keep in mind. Make sure to also highlight members and instructors that fit the key demographics, again, of the audiences that you're trying to target. That will also make it more cohesive across the way. Both platforms reward business pages for creating unique and authentic video as well. We like to see things anywhere from 15 to 30-second boomerang videos. Those do really, really well. Longer testimonial videos are still key as well. People want to find out more about your business and hear it from someone that has utilized your business. Highlight reels, GIFs, and more. So when in doubt, always choose video content. But here are some additional engagement hacks that we have researched for you, and we have seen great lift in engagement and reach. You can create private Facebook groups from your page and invite pages and followers that like your page to join the group. You can also set up a filter and make sure that this is, I guess, targeting your demographics and the audiences and the customers that you want in your business by setting up filters and questions for when people join the group. You can also create in-platform games on your page on Facebook, as well as interactive ads and giveaways from your page. We've seen giveaways do really, really, really well. Interactive ads and content on your page greatly increase the time a follower spends on your page, and your social media profile has strong potential to go viral, and then it also increases the conversions overall. A great example of this would be the spin the wheel game, or spin the wheel to win. This way you can also increase lead generation while broadcasting a promotion and still not using your entire budget on rewards. Last but not least, I would say let your target audience market for you. It's free advertising. Why would you not do that? So you can create a simple and easy to follow video challenge. Your consumers and customers will create the content for you that you can use for weeks or years to come. It spikes your page engagement and your views as well. Just be sure to create a unique and unused hashtag to accompany the posts and the videos. Then you can search that hashtag later on and pull all of that content that your target audience built for you and reuse it. Next slide, Nick, please. So last but not least, where do we find the time for this? Obviously, you're all very, very busy business owners. Fortunately, we live in a time where there are a lot of platforms and software that can help you with your organic posting and management. We like to use certain platforms anywhere from free tools that you can Google to different ones that have different tiers, allow memberships, monthly plans, annual plans. and they're a lot more robust. Some of our favorites include HubSpot, Sprout Social, Hootsuite, EveryPost, Planable, and those are just a few. If you Google social media management platforms or social media schedulers, you'll be sure to find something that fits your needs. And go ahead, Nick. So just to wrap that up, organic posting builds loyalty to your brand and creates the brand awareness in this time when so many people are fighting for space, increases your reach and engagement on your profiles, and then ultimately helps with CPM and CPL for your paid media ads. And that's our tactical tools.
Thank you so much, Paige, for the amazing insights. Please feel free to message us in the chat if you have any questions about Paige's share or Aren's. And now I would like to introduce Evan Lacivita, our Franchisee Success Manager.
Thank you, Nick, and thank you everyone for joining us today. It is my pleasure to introduce Bryanna Rawe. Bryanna is the owner of 2 successful Deka Lash franchises in South Florida and is a well-respected member of the franchise. She uses her positive attitude and tireless energy to encourage others to work hard and succeed. Bryanna is inspired daily by her husband and family, and in her free time loves to travel, try new restaurants, and be outdoors. And Bryanna, I think that you are a tremendous role model for franchisees everywhere. It's a pleasure working with you, and thank you so much for being here today and sharing your story with us. Can you start by telling us about your journey into franchising?
Hey, yeah. Thanks, guys, for having me on. I got into the Deka Lash franchise in March of 2018 and opened my first location in October of 2018. Prior to that, I was in construction in the restaurant industry for combined probably about 20 years. And I just decided I was like, want to do something else. I want to help women succeed and become successful. I wanted to make women feel beautiful and confident. So I got into the Deka Lash franchise. They were very welcoming when I went through the process, and it's like a family, and family is a lot to me. So that's what made me really want to join with them.
That's fantastic. I love that story. It's Bryanna, it's been a really challenging year between COVID, election, multiple hurricanes in your area. Can you tell us about some positive results you've achieved recently in the face of all those challenges?
Yeah, so we were closed for almost 3 months because of COVID, and we reopened in May, end of May. Actually, last month, we were number 4 in our franchise for our store location. We hit several marks, partially thanks to Franchise Ramp and the marketing success I've had with them. We've hit benchmarks that I didn't think was even possible this year. I work with a lot of different people, and this company's definitely helped the success level come up of just helping driving in people. The ads are creative and fresh, and it's just been remarkable. I honestly didn't think with COVID and everything else this year we would be where we're at right now.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, success in the face of adversity. I love it. Aside from marketing, what do you think the biggest contributor is to your success?
My employees. Having a great staff and having an open mindset and listening to, sometimes you don't see what they see, and, being able to listen and hear what they have to say, it just helps. They deal with people in my business every day. So just having them there and being able to take the information and then make it a bigger platform, and okay, let's do it this way and let's try it this. And, don't be afraid to jump out and test the water with something and see if it works or not works. If it doesn't work, just go back to what was working.
Bring up a great point. Occasionally you have to take risks, and as a high performing franchisee, you've had to do that to kind of get to the next level. Is there a risk that you had to take in your business journey that you can point to that helped you get to that next level?
One was mindset. When I first started to open, I like to be comfortable and not challenge. It was just as long as everything's going okay, I'm good. So that was definitely the thing. Biggest obstacle for me was opening my second location. And it was at the right time, and it was just a question. And it was just jump and do it, and it'll go from there. And it really has. I took a lot of what I learned from the first one and was able to apply it and know what to do and not to do in the second. So it definitely, mindset of just getting out of your comfort zone definitely helps with this. And don't get comfortable. Just keep going. If hiring and bringing in more people, because if you bring in more people are going to come. You can always count on it.
Excellent. Yeah, for sure. Sounds like there's a wealth of experience that you're kind of drawing from. Occasionally you do have to make some really hard decisions though. Is there one particular experience that you can point to that helps you make the hard decisions you've had to make, especially these past weeks and months?
Making sure that my employees are safe and having a safe, welcoming, clean environment, because of COVID being around, has definitely been one of the challenges. Our sanitation has been and always will be over 100%. I call myself a little OCD, so my studio is impeccably clean anyways. But just making sure the clients are comfortable coming in for a service, as I am service-based, is the biggest challenge I had. But seeing and hearing from them that they was very, very, exciting to me, and that they want to continue to come even with everything going on.
Yeah, that's great. You mentioned earlier, your staff and your clients are kind of their family or an extension of your family. How have you been able to foster that sense of community with COVID? I mean, you touched on it briefly, but is there more to the strategy there of making people feel comfortable?
Just making them feel welcome and comfortable, and that they wanted. We do lash extensions, so it's making them feel beautiful and confident. With everything going on in COVID, the masks cover half their face. So with their eyes and brows being done, they're able to feel gorgeous all the time, even though you can't see half of them. So it's just a sense of, being able to give them that confidence boost while they're having a mask on has been one of the greatest things in the sense of community. And then obviously we, like to team up with Toys for Tots and other places. And we just did a food drive for Thanksgiving, and, social media really helps us get out there with that and help others out.
That's excellent. No, I love that. I can tell that you feel really passionately about what you do and the community that you're in. And it seems like that's certainly contributing to your success. What do you think, if there is one, what's the core differentiator that makes you a high-performing franchisee?
Honestly, I think it's the support system I have from everyone from corporate, my team at Franchise Ramp, everyone that I work with. I just feel like I have a strong support. And, if I have a question, I have someone that I could reach out to, whether it be another franchisee or a family member, or, someone that is owns a business or runs a business or has been high up that I look and mentor from, has definitely helped with all of that.
Excellent. Yeah, we're all in it together. For
Definitely.
Sure. Bryanna, this has been great. What's last question here? What advice would you give to a franchisee that is just starting out? What are some of the lessons or takeaways that you've learned that you wish you knew when you were starting?
Marketing is huge. My marketing when I first started wasn't as great. Brand standards is another thing, and making sure you have that content. It takes a lot of time, but once you get into your day in and day out routine of how to fit everything in, it really just flows. Don't leave that piece of the puzzle, and make sure it's there, because it definitely can make the company for you, or sometimes break, but not always. Also client reviews are a great thing to have. And, I have great clients that love to post for us. You know, every now and then you get a horrible one, you have to deal with it. But, you know, it's just one of those things. That's life. Everyone's not going to be happy 24/7, and you have to do your best just to, you know, try to please them. So it's just really just jump feet in and just do it all. And start with the marketing and go from there, you know, and then have the support system that you need behind you.
Excellent. So it sounds like just jump in, do it all, and have a support system. So I love it. Bryanna, this has been excellent, very insightful, and thanks again for being here with us today.
Awesome. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, of course.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing, Bryanna. And we are now opened for questions. Take a couple moments. We still have a few minutes left. So if you have any questions for Bryanna or Paige or Aren or Evan, or even me, I could answer a question too. But if you have anything, please drop it in the chat for us. So I'm not seeing any questions in there currently, but I was wondering, Aren, if you could maybe expound a little bit on CPM and how it relates to CPL. You threw so much amazing information out there. I think we could benefit with just a little bit more description of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So high level, basically everything is proportionate. So if you're holding everything in control, meaning it's the same ad showing to the same group of people on the same placement, so in your news feed, if CPM cost doubles, your lead cost or conversion cost will also double. And so if you are doing the social media management like Paige was talking about, and through engagement on your page, Facebook rewards you by decreasing CPM costs by 10%. As long as everything else is steady, meaning there's no, you know, pandemics or environmental changes, your lead cost will also drop by that proportionate 10%. And so it is directly linear down funnel, and that extends directly to your cost per member. So if or per purchaser. So if your CPM cost drops in half and your lead cost drops in half, as long as everything down funnel stays the same, so all those controls, your cost per member will then drop in half as well. So
very cool. Very cool. Well, I'm going to wait one more moment for any questions to come through. Please feel free to share if you have any. Okay, I think we're good, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. We already can't wait to see you next time, and we look forward to working with you to achieve your entrepreneurial dreams. Thank you, everybody.